Update. Am I the arsehole for telling my parents if they don't come to my wedding, I will never speak to them again? Original story. For a little context, I, 23 male, was always the disappointment child. My younger sister, 20 female Gigi, was always the favourite as soon as she was born. My parents Julia, 46 female, Harris, 48 male, always favoured Gigi as she was a girl, and a week before Gigi was born, my grandmother Gianna passed away, so my mum named her Gigi in honour of my grandmother. The problem here is my parents always favoured Gigi, no matter what, and I was always the disappointment growing up, which resulted in me and my family not being close. Now my fiancée, soon-to-be wife, my beautiful Remy, 22 female, are having our wedding next week, 8th of January. I proposed to her late 2022 and my family were supportive. We were planning our wedding the whole of 2023 and are very excited about this. We planned the date for September 2023. We invited everybody, chose a food outfit and everything needed for a wedding. The date was perfect for everyone and we planned it with Remy's family who lives in France. The problem is, last week Gigi was arrested from a DUI, drinking under influence, and she got 1 month in jail. Of course, my family is on Gigi's side, saying it's unfair as she's only a kid. I personally disagree. Gigi is 20 years old, she's an adult, and this sentence could be thinking time for her to sort herself out, as she could have killed someone or herself. As she's in jail for a month, obviously she won't be able to attend my wedding, which I was kind of bummed about, as she is my sister, and I would have loved to have her on my special day. However, my parents said it's unfair that I should have my wedding while she's in jail, and I should change it so she could go. I discussed this with Remy, but we both agree it's far too late, and the family already booked their tickets to come see the wedding. We also agreed that it's unfair to cancel on around 40 people just because of one person, and it would be too much stress and panic. I told my family this and they said I was being rude and they wouldn't come without my sister. So I told them, don't speak to me again if you're not going to be supportive of me. I told my family that they were always favouring Gigi and it's cruel of them to never be there for me. We had a lot of arguing and that's when I said, if you don't come to my wedding, don't be bothered by me ever again. And I never want to speak to any of you again. I feel like I overreacted. I got a lot of angry texts about them, and even some aunts and uncles. However, this hurts as my sister has an excuse not to come, but they have none. All my life they have left me out, and this was the one time they could have showed they love me. My reaction for OP. It's never easy if you don't feel that you're the favoured child. The best way is probably to talk it out and tell them how you feel and take it from there. Now for the updates. Update 1. For more info, my name is Kai, and the reason my sister got a sentence is because she was under the influence of drugs. Her excuse for this is she was pressured to do it. Later on today, Remy got a message from my mum saying it's disrespectful of making Kai turn against his family. Remy got really upset over this, and I understand, and she has every right to. This message made her feel bad about herself, even considering to cancel the wedding. I got really angry with seeing my fiancé hurt by this message and the selfishness of Julia, my mum. I let my anger get the best of me and confronted my mum, and here's the exact things we said. Me. I saw the message you sent to Remy. May I know the reason why you found that okay in your brain to say that? Julia. Well, since you're not manning up, someone has to do it for you. Me. I don't need to defend anyone. I'm not going to let you hurt me. I'm a full-grown adult now, and I will protect myself. Julia. Oh, please. We all know who's forcing you, hun. Kiss, kiss. Me. No one is forcing me. The fact you thought it was okay to even message Remy is stupid. I always knew how entitled you were, and that I can't even say I'm surprised. We all know who your golden child is, and thanks to you, she's in jail. Julia. Your sister is in jail for no reason, and you should support her while she's going through these hard times. Instead, you leave her out, which is why me and your father won't be attending. Me. Honestly, I couldn't care less. At this point, I'm used to it. It's always Gigi, never me. Julia. You should be ashamed of yourself for being a jealous brat. Me. The only thing I'm ashamed about is having you as a mother. After this, I blocked her. Honestly, I couldn't care less. Did I do the right thing? Update 2. Today, I just woke up to a message from my father. I blocked my mum yesterday, but I must have forgotten to block him. And I'm just going to show the exact messages we sent to each other. Dad, are you going to change your wedding date? Me. You seriously think that I'm going to change the wedding for one person? Dad, that one person is your sister, me. And you're telling me to cancel on 40 people just for my entitled sister? Dad, 1, she's not entitled. 2, yes, she's your real family, not Remy. Me, I never seen you, Mum and Gigi as my real family. In fact, I find Remy's parents more family than you. Dad, Kai, just do it. Your sister's going through a hard time. She's really upset she can't go. Me, it was her own choice to drive under the influence. Dad, you know she was pressured. Me, another excuse. Anything she does, it's always an excuse. Dad, we didn't raise you to be this way. Me, you guys barely raised me at all. Dad, stop exaggerating. We do love you. Me, when? Dad, Kai, I can't be bothered with you right now. Your mum wants to speak to you. Unblock her. Me, no. Dad, let's talk this out. Me, there's nothing to be talked out. I'm not changing my wedding date and that's final. Dad, we won't come then. Me, and I don't care. You were uninvited anyway. Story 2. Update. Would I be the arsehole for telling my boyfriend that him being a Trump supporter gives me the ick? Original story. Hi you all. New account because I don't really want anybody connecting this with me. I, 20 female, started dating my boyfriend, 21 male, about 2-ish months ago. We've known each other for 3 years. We weren't initially interested in dating, but it kinda just happened. And things have been going really well, except for one thing. I found out he's a Trump supporter. Now, before you lecture me in the comments about how I shouldn't let politics get in the way of my relationship, please hear me out. It's just been a couple of things that have really rubbed me the wrong way about him for some reason. For context, I'm a Hispanic female immigrant, fled from a country where, if I can put it in simplest terms, went to shit, who's had nothing but bad experiences with Trump supporters because almost every single time, without fail, they would always say or do something extremely demeaning to myself or my family, talking about how people like us should be deported without even realizing they're referring to us, saying that people like me are a threat to the country, slut-shaming, etc, etc. I consider myself the kind of person who judges a person's character based on what they believe in. And time again, it's been proved to me that these types of people are the type I should stay away from. On the day that Trump got convicted, we started talking politics, and he told me that he's not really a felon. The courts were unfair, there was bias, and he should have had a fair trial. Not exactly verbatim, but that's pretty much the point he made when I told him that Trump was a felon now. When we were watching The Boys S4, and that one part where an old man was explaining to Newman that women can reject pregnancies, he agreed with that old man. When I explained to him that that's not how women work, he apologized to me, but I was still absolutely surprised that he didn't even understand such a basic thing about women. He has a sister, so it's not like he grew up without women in his life. We had a conversation about immigration, and he told me that all immigrants should be immediately deported. I told him that myself and my family are immigrants, and if that meant he wanted us to be deported, to which he said, "But you guys are legal, I'm talking about the illegal ones." I told him that this type of rhetoric makes me feel unsafe, and the conversation kinda just ended there. When we were having a conversation about the Trump-Epstein relationship, he told me that it was all a conspiracy, and that Trump isn't the type of person to do that. I brought up a bunch of examples of Trump being a predator, the pussy grabber stuff, heckling a 10-year-old, the creepy moments about his daughter, the flight logs, making the point that while being guilty by association isn't a thing, the other instances of him being a predator make this seem a lot more plausible. He told me that Trump never did any of that. And in a way, that kinda broke the camel's back for me, because I myself am a victim of sexual assault. And the nasty thought occurred to me that if I ever got assaulted, he probably wouldn't even believe me. That him, standing behind someone I consider a rapist, means that he condones Trump's actions, and by extension, the actions of the man who assaulted me. I don't know how he, who grew up with women and has a girlfriend who he is fully aware of is Hispanic and an immigrant, has LGBTQ+ friends and states that he loves people like me, and his family can even stand behind something like that. It makes me wonder if there's a side of him that he hasn't revealed to me yet, because this is a new relationship, and that makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. I'm asking if I would be the arsehole here for telling him that this gives me the ick because my own family is telling me that I shouldn't let politics get in the way of my relationship, that Trump wants people to fight each other, and that I shouldn't let Trump win. But I really don't know. Can I get some advice? Now for the update. Update. Hey you all! Update here. I didn't really expect my last post to blow up or for people to tell me that this is a justifiable reason for ending a relationship, so thank you for not being judgmental. A lot of people were asking me what country my family came from, so I'll just say it since I don't think that's identifiable information. It's Venezuela. If you don't know what's happening there, then I envy you. Also, shout out to those people who thought this was AI generated. I find it kinda sad that this has pretty much become the state of Reddit now. Like, if you think something's AI, just don't engage with it. That's what people who post AI want from you. Don't let them win. Now on to the update. I spent the last couple of days with my dad, who was visiting me, and deleting social media and muting a bunch of politics related stuff because I've come to realize that regularly listening to people talk about how people like me ruin the country and how we don't belong here isn't really good for my mental health, and neither is dating someone who openly admits to supporting that group. So I talked to now ex-boyfriend. I went to his room instead of inviting him to mine because I knew that if I'd let him in my room, he would just refuse to leave until he had convinced me, and I wanted to keep the power of removing myself from the situation at any time. We live in a college dorm. Firstly, I should say that I admitted to him on the day that I made my first post that him supporting a known rapist is hurtful to me because him tolerating that behavior makes me question if he's tolerant of the POS who assaulted me, and thus I see him in a different light. And he sent a very long text message just telling me that it hurt his feelings and that he does care about me being sad. I didn't really understand though, because he votes for a pussy grabber. It boiled down to, I feel terrible that you see me as the type of person who'd be okay with rape because I'm not okay with it. I acknowledge that I may have been an asshole to say that, so I started that conversation by apologizing to him and then following with me just telling him that I want to end the relationship and going back to being friends. I don't think I meant the friends part though. You can't have your cake and eat it. I can't be your friend if you affiliate yourself with a group of people who regularly shit on me. He tried to convince me to stay by saying that he really loved me and cared about me and respected my opinions, that we shouldn't let politics get in the way of our relationship. I responded that I can't change what he believes and that I value a person's beliefs and the group of people they associate with as a method of how I judge their character. I've already judged him, and I don't like what I see, and therefore I've lost my feelings for him. He told me I was making a generalization. I told him that while it is true that I might be making a generalization, we can't change the fact that in this landscape of politics, many of my rights are on the chopping block, and that I am already starting to resent him for not really feeling listened to when I try to talk about how anxious it's making me. He told me that none of that stuff is going to happen, and that our different opinions shouldn't get in the way of our relationship, that he's voting for Trump because he thinks he can fight inflation and cares about military members. I told him that while I can list a million reasons why that isn't true, that isn't relevant to the conversation, he then said that all his other relationships never consisted of talk about politics and that this was ridiculous. I pretty much told him that he can't have his cake and eat it. I can't date someone who associates with people who give me trouble, and that this won't be sustainable. Ending is better for the both of us. I realized that this conversation was going nowhere and decided to just leave. I told him to just give up on it already before leaving. He kept asking me to stay while he thought about what to say, but I didn't. I'm just done. I don't really feel sad. I feel so relieved. I'm going to leave social media for a while and just focus on myself for a while. I'm going to therapy too. I'll stick around to read your comments. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to respond though. If I go radio silent, then just take that as a sign that I'm no longer on this app. Have a nice day. Story 3. Me, female 29, husband, male 32, is making AI erotica of grooming a minor. What do I do? Writing that out breaks my soul. I'm physically ill, I'm at a loss. I, female 29, am married to someone, male 32, who has been the love of my life for many years. He left a chatbot open on his computer, and I scrolled through because at first I was amused. I knew he'd been making lewd AI chats and rolled my eyes because I read plenty of erotica myself. But then I almost threw up because this chat was him effing a mother of a 14-year-old girl, and he said the girl turned him on. As he helped her with her schoolwork, he did subtle grooming tactics. Then he went on to tell the AI that later in the story, he wants to have a sexual encounter with the girl. I was shaking. Who is this man that I've poured my soul into? Nothing he has done has crossed legal lines yet because of AI laws. I've scoured the internet until my fingers were metaphorically raw. I want to throw up. This man is half of my heart. We have 2 little boys who we both worshipped, and he is the best father I could ever ask for. He loves me, I love him. Where do I even go from here? My only thought is continuing to collect evidence, but for what end? What do I do? My soul is shattering. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Thank you.